We have an injury, so someone's not here, but here we go with the available cast here in sunny Austin. Denis Leary, come on down. Liz Gillies. Bobby Kelly. And John Ale. John Corbett hurt himself. I just found that out earlier today. A rock and roll injury.
Oh, yeah. John Corbett broke his, smashed his foot up. He was working on his house and he fell off the side of the house on a ladder and fucked up his foot.
True story.
So he's alive. So any of you, watch this, Aiden's not here. Like, fuck it, everybody gets up and walks out. Every chick in the room leaves.
We're just kidding, John, come on back.
Yeah, it's always great to see a show up on a big screen, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yes.
Yeah. That was good.
No, I just want to make sure you and I can share this one. They can have that.
Yeah, we'll share it on
Okay.
here.
So
Yeah.
this is two.
As we say, it's rock and roll. We're gonna. Hey, any chance you guys can remake vinyl? I promised somebody I would do that.
There is
Your microphone.
there is a scene later in the season about vinyl. I won't reveal what it is. We do a little scene that involves vinyl later in the season.
Yeah.
And I do have to say that the Rolling Stones, to their credit, and I'm not going to tell you how, but the Rolling Stones gave us permission to do a Rolling Stone reference story involving their logo. They gave us the rights to their logo, and there's 2 episodes that basically revolve around it, around this piece of jewelry that's the Rolling Stones logo. And we got permission to use David Bowie's some concert footage at
That was so cool. I
the
didn't
end of
see that
episode 2.
Yeah.
So.
So we're pretty cool.
I don't know what was the question?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, first of all, I mean, we've Dennis.
Hi, by the way, can I just say,
Yeah.
how fucking great is this theater? Unbelievable.
We ate
We were sitting up here. Do you guys all have the big comfortable seats, or those are kind of movie seats? All right, because the fucking balcony has giant captain chair recliners where the things go, yeah. And they give these giant fucking drinks so you feel like you're 8 years old again.
How good is the queso with chips?
Yeah, fuck the show. How great is this place?
Let's go through the menu.
Let's order some stuff.
That's the great part of having a festival in Austin, right? It's perfect.
Yes.
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 That's right.
All right, so
Salad. You get a salad?
You got a salad.
You get a salad at a movie theater? That's fucking illegal.
Why did you get a salad?
Will they have queso?
Can somebody take that salad, please? You're not gonna eat
You know
it.
what? He feels bad.
But he weighs $1.10. How do you eat? Dude, oh my God! I'm throw that salad away, please. Put salad next to French fries. I'm just gonna have 2 fries and the rest of that.
Bobby, when is the last time you actually ate a salad?
I'll tell you right now, with my barbecue, I had that's coleslaw, which is technically that's a fucking salad. Technically, it's in the salad bin.
Boy, it's on the fringe of the fucking salad family.
It was on the fringe of my fucking barbecue.
Yeah,
too.
sure.
Wait, wait. I just use it in between meat bites to push that down tomorrow.
Hey, will you fucking let Tim ask a question?
Sorry, Tim.
this is a good point. What did you guys have upstairs? What did you
We had chips and you go.
All right, here's
Bobby and I, we saw a menu and we went in.
what
Before
happened.
we sat down, food was coming to them.
All right, here's what happened. Liz wanted fries. I added queso dip with the chips. Then we got fries. She reneged on the fried. I said, don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Got the fries. We got chicken fingers, and then I got a milkshake. Well, with a Diet Coke.
No, I have nothing left now. I give up on trying to convince you to eat better.
This is the best theater ever.
Hope Alamo's recording this.
Oh, they are.
We're gonna rue the day Bobby Kelly came into this fucking movie theater. What do you mean he's living in Austin? Yeah, he moved down there. He's working at this fucking theater. Oh, we know the theater. We know the theater. He's giving up acting and comedy. He's just working there.
I'll take the job. I slap salads out of people's hands. I hate these chairs. I feel like a hobbit. Look at my little feet. Look at my little feet. It's bugging everybody in this theater right now. My little feet that don't really touch the footstools.
Yeah.
So sorry.
We're like the hardest cast to interview.
No,
No, this happens, like, we just don't ever actually get questions, and then we just have to go.
This is perfect, actually. Keep going.
I guarantee I'm gonna get yelled at any minute. I'm gonna get yelled by somebody on this cast will give me a look, kind of like this. Is he? Oh, he's doing it
No,
now.
I'm not giving you. I'm not giving. You know my look. This is not my look.
That's the one thing when you work with Dennis. It's you live honest Scott. First of all, he's the best.
Oh yeah. Okay. So now. So you know he's gonna insult me now. Just because he's talking about how great I am.
That is no. First of all, oh, this fucking chair.
Fuck you, Bobby. I just want to say fuck you before you say something shitty about me.
I mean, listen. I worked for the. Listen,
Tim, I'm sorry.
you understand? The job that rescued me.
They don't
is now
know what the
this
job
show.
is. They don't know what the job is.
Fuck, well, you should. He's put the greatest television on TV.
Oh, please.
Let me fucking, I mean, you didn't do it by yourself. You had a lot of help. But,
If you say that about me, Aaron Sorkin is never gonna hire you. And he's in fucking town, asshole. So don't say it's the best TV ever.
it's the second.
It's say amongst it. That's
It
the
is
most.
good. It's fucking good TV.
Why? Because you're in it?
Well, no, but I'm gonna say this. When you work with Dennis, let me get serious. I want to get fucking serious.
Oh God.
When you work with
Don't start crying. If you start crying, I'm gonna fucking leave. I swear to God.
First of all, don't make me. I'm not gonna cry. Let me lick my lips. 'Cause it's my only asset. Thank you. I do have fucking pillow lips. Ladies, let's not kid around. I may not be Flash or fucking Johnny Rock, but when those lips come on the fucking screen, you go, I do them. Yeah, I do them.
No chance.
When you
There's no chance of us getting a love scene next year.
Listen.
There's no chance.
dude, we're getting girls next year.
I don't think so.
You said that last year.
When you work at Leary, you have to learn a different language. Do you understand?
Language?
A language. A language.
You said language.
I said language. You have to, because, all right, you have to learn this. And everybody will know this. John, you'll know this.
Right.
When you come in the morning, you usually go on a regular set, it's like, good morning, good morning. Fuck you means good morning. Go fuck yourself. Have a great night, Bobby. See you tomorrow. And this, I fucking can't stand you. Means I love you. Literally, we're in the middle of a scene. Campbell Scott's in this year, I can say that. We're in the middle of a scene. Unbelievable scene, right? It's crazy. He comes, what's a good scene when Dennis is like, comes in, he's right there, right? And he's talking to you, and he's looking, and I'm right there, and he's talking to Campbell, unbelievable, blah, and we're ready to go, and this is Campbell Scott, I'm nervous, Dennis, and he looks at me and he goes, I fucking can't stand you. And then leaves.
I was fucking with him.
Of course he was fucking with me. That means I love you.
He was about to do a very serious improvisational scene with John Ailes and Campbell Scott. I guess I'll answer that question that you were going to ask, since Bobby brought it up. One of the plot lines this year that we found was because of the success of Hamilton and the fact that last year Sonny Silverstein Rehab had written those 29 songs about the Irish potato famine. This year, Campbell Scott, who desperately, he loves Hamilton and he wants to win a Tony himself, and he decides to buy the 29 Irish potato famine songs and turn it into a hip-hop musical called Feast. And so we actually do a show starring Campbell Scott as Campbell Scott that he is the composer of and he's the percussion designer of, that becomes a real show. We filmed it, it's through several episodes, but there's one whole epic of opening night.
It's epic.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're watching a show.
It's like Birdman.
No, it's
a whole
like
episode
so
of the
beautiful.
theater.
I had to do off-camera work where I was mad or something, and I was supposed to be like, and I ended up just getting lost in the show. And we had real dancers, real
Yeah.
Broadway. I mean, I'm very, very impressed by it. It's quite good.
Campbell went to see Hamilton 10 times. Because
Which
he knew
is so
somebody in the
cheap.
cast, and he came in and improvised his hip hop lyrics to the stuff the band was doing in the studio. We used at least half that stuff, and he was fucking great.
It was, I came in,
It's
when
fun.
you read it, you're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be they're gonna fake that somehow. I walked in, they had a whole nother show. The set, the dancers, and I fucking hate dance. It was amazing. I don't like dance. I do not, but this was, I was like in awe. They have the drums, the dance, and then Campbell Scott comes out dressed like an old potato farmer, and you're like, what the fuck? It was a show in a show. It was one of the greatest things ever. Go.
Sorry, Tim, I'm sorry.
You go.
No. You go.
All right. Well, where do you follow that? I will say this though. I'd heard that rumor from FX that it was going to be the Irish Potato Famine song cycle because and Hamilton of course is ripe for spoofing. But Dennis let me know up in the balcony that instead of it's called Feast in the show, but I guess they call it Familton.
That's what the critics call it in the show. They call it Familton. And Campbell is really fucking funny doing the hip hop songs about the Irish Potato Famine with like 30 dancers, man. The 11 o'clock finale number, and the set kind of is based on Hamilton. You got to see it. So it's like a Hamilton satire within Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
And there hasn't been, unless I'm wrong, there hasn't been one, and it's ripe for it. So you joke that maybe Feast / Familton will actually now be actually bigger than Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
I think there's a possibility that Campbell is so good and so funny in this show that it could become a musical on Broadway that's bigger than the television show Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll. And then it'll like fuck us over somehow.
Yeah, you're
Take credit for it.
Well, I mean, the obvious question after all of that is, I mean, this has got to be the funnest show in television to work on.
Yes.
It's the best. It's so, in between takes is so much, it's hilarious. It's just funny. I mean, let me tell you this. Denis Leary is one of the funniest guys walking the earth. Johnny Ailes and Elizabeth Gillies and Elaine are fucking hilarious. But John Corbett is one of...
I know, he really is.
Listen, I've met the funniest, and he is one of the funniest guys in between takes. He makes us laugh so
In
much.
fact, I have a theory. I hope you don't mind I'm calling you out on this.
What?
You came up to me one day and you were like, what you were doing off camera, that really got in my head. And I actually think that it was Corbett who had burned into your brain. Corbett's off camera is so completely off your script. And
Yeah.
It's off the planet.
it is completely off the planet. He can get us.
We'll put it this way.
Taylor Swift.
We'll never be able to use anything he said off camera.
No chance.
No. Like for me, and I'm nuts. He said stuff that I literally shook my head and I started saying the Serenity Prayer. I became Catholic again. I was like, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
You know what it is? He's like, I don't think it's like, he's not testing us or anything. He's just, so he has ADD like we all do. So he really wants to help you as an actor, and he knows that he just forgot the line that he's supposed to say, and he doesn't like the improv, so that ties him up, so he just does this crazy fucking thing, and fuck a cow.
No, seriously.
And you're
that's
like,
exactly
fuck
what
a
it is.
cow, dude, I'm in the middle of a dramatic scene with you, I'm doing my close-up.
No, I had one where it was a dramatic scene and he had filmed his part, so the cameras were turning around on me, and I was like, I just don't know what to do, and he goes, titties. And I'm like, and then I had to remember my lines, I can't come off of that, I don't know what that means, so, but it was like that a lot, but then he got creative towards the end, very creative, very interesting. He changed like screwed or have sex with their bone to jibby jab, like just things that we can't use.
I mean, what state do they say jibby jab in instead of bone,
Jibby
fuck,
jab,
screw?
we're like, what? Okay.
Like, yeah, let me stick my pickle jar in your salad juice. Did you say salad juice? Cork stick, yes. I ate way too much upstairs. My belt buckle is literally murdering me right now. I literally might have a belt buckle in my stomach. And if I die that way, please don't take Instagrams. You got a hashtag fat guy belt buckle death.
also in the show with Bob.
You're so bad. I'm so sorry.
Oh, I gotta undo it. I gotta undo it. I gotta undo it. I can't. I know I'm supposed to look good, but I can't do it. Look at the size of this fuck. What am I thinking? I should have a belt buckle made of macaronis. Oh, so much better. Oh, my life has just changed. What else you got?
Next year, there's a Kickstarter for Bobby, the pillow belt. It's nice
What
and
a great
soft,
fucking idea.
adjustable.
Pillow belt buckle. A belt buckle made of chocolate. When it melts, it's time to eat. How's that salad, sir?
We need you all to sign an NDA on your way out, because that's ours.
I'm shaming you out of that salad. What are you, a chicken cacciatore too? What are you doing? It's a movie theater.
That's perfect.
Everybody, I'm here first.
Everybody take your belts off.
Hey, Tim, are we supposed to do a Q&A?
No, not really.
I'm just trying to bring us back on track.
I think the ATX Twitter feed's gonna be awesome.
I just want to say, Bobby, John and I just spoke. That's a fucking great idea, that pillow belt buckle.
It really is.
I mean, seriously, that's like a moneymaker.
Buddy, this almost killed me.
I'm just telling you, I'm being supportive. So is John.
Will you invest?
Endorse. No, invest. Endorse.
No, we need the money. I don't have his money.
We endorse.
We endorse.
No, invest.
We are Dennis and John. We approve this pillow.
Neither one of you need it.
It's for you. And
I don't want you. I want like that guy to be my investor. Me and you. You got some chubby on you, dude. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I want two thin twinks. I want that guy, and you'll be with us someday, sir, but not now. Someday you're gonna give up and join the Pillow Belt Buckle Club.
All right, well, Liz, you were being sort of the newcomer, but the youngest one. I mean, what was it like for you to walk in and deal with like this? Literally.
Oh, sorry.
It was really fun. I was not intimidated in the slightest. I get along with these guys quite well, and I'm better than most people my age actually. I don't know what that says about me, but we have a lot of fun. We like to give each other a hard time in the nicest, best way, and every minute is somebody just going in on the other person. That sounded sexual. It's not. We don't do that. But maybe season 3, but not now. But we have a great rapport, all of us, and we get along really famously. So work is very, very fun, and it felt I feel more at home with people this age than my own, which again is strange, but I do. We have fun. We have a good time. You're like,
Well,
we don't. We hate you.
No, the truth is that,
Do you feel like you're babysitting? Am I speaking out of turn?
no, I think here's the issue. She's fucking more twisted and darkly sarcastic than all of us put together, so she fit right the fuck in
I did.
the day that she showed up. I've known Bobby for a long time and worked with him before, and you know, the basic crew of guys on our show that we had worked with before, she came right in, she was just like one of the fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, yeah.
I cursed
So-
before I did this show, but not in the way that I curse now.
I
You
don't-
really took it. You being around you guys.
We gave you a
really,
master class, but you came in
really
pretty
did.
educated.
I did. I may have graduated, but you guys took me to a second level of school.
There's no bullshit on the set, you can't really get away
No.
with anything, everybody's really fucking sarcastic. And,
No, our guest stars. Remember we had guest stars towards the end of the season, and they'd come in and just observe our set.
Yeah.
Or we had younger guest stars. They'd play later in the
Yeah.
show. And they were aghast just watching us interact. They're like, that's like they were just hoping like some SAG after person would come in and just lock all
well, we
us.
really do that thing of like, John, say the fucking line, say it now. Like, just because we're
No,
trying to
it's
get through the
true.
day. Liz, shut the fuck up and say the line. We all talk to each other like that, so you get a new actor in. You know, Joan Jett's first day, she was like, is everything all right? I'm like, oh, no. This is what, like the same way you talk to your band, that's how we talk to each other. She's like, oh, fuck, I get it, all right. You know, it's just, shut the fuck up, John, say the line. You know, that's the way we work. And, you know, we love each other.
Yeah, fuck you.
Well, let's go back to
That's how we say you love each other.
to the sort of the beginning of it and the idea of the show. I know we're heading into the second season. We'll catch up to that in a second because we can't ignore Hamilton any longer than this. But big changes. Second season, a lot about the changes. We find a death in the first episode, and as you said,
It's not like we found a body.
no, it's not. Well, that was actually, it might be when FX gets over. Yeah, it's gonna be a found body. But so death causes changes. There's all kinds of like big time issues in this series. But one of them is, and Dennis and you guys can get onto this as well, and Liz add to this. You know, a lot of it is about growing older, age, ego plays in this stuff. And did you guys, maybe Dennis specifically, did you think that rock and roll was the perfect way to sort of get at that self-deprecating, growing a little older, looking for the best light for the photos, etc.?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I've never known guys or chicks that were in bands that weren't vain on some level, right? So everybody in the band is vain, and the lead singer's gotta be, you know, whether it's a guy or a chick, they've gotta be really, in some way, narcissistic, because that's why you wanna watch a great lead performer, right? And then, so of course that's gonna make somebody else jealous, and so all those pieces are in place. But from there, you know, so the older, when people want to be famous and they haven't made it, the older they get, you know, it's the way the sadder it gets. But for me, that also makes it funnier. Like when you're trying to strive for something, and you're losing your looks, all that bullshit, I think is really funny. So for a guy like Johnny, who's totally fucked on that front, whose only thing he's ever had to depend on is this chick, Ava. I mean, truly, that's the only thing that most people are probably walking around thinking, why the fuck is she still with this guy? So that the kickoff in this episode, when it's the beginning of a midlife crisis for her, Johnny doesn't know what the fuck to do, because he never thought that he would ever have a chance of losing her. And that becomes sort of like her midlife crisis, which kicks down to Flash having kind of a midlife crisis, and these two wondering what the fuck's gonna happen. And in a weird way, this year, the people who start to have the biggest success on some fronts are Bam and Rehab, because they're fucking doing this giant musical with fucking Campbell Scott. And the rest of us are having fucking midlife crises, and they're hanging out with a fucking famous actor about to possibly make a lot of fucking money on this big hit fucking show, you know?
Well, and also what the series did well last year, and not ever left the whole cast is here, obviously, but within that structure, what you just talked about, you actually had Liz being sort of the younger in the future, and has the voice and has the youth and all this work, but she also falls prey to sort of all the things that you talked about, the desires of wanting to be more famous than maybe you guys, more better than you guys did. And then these guys end up as supporting players, having this great spin-off story in the middle of the season, and a hilarious twist on rock and all that stuff. You were able to touch on thematic issues of both aging and sort of the rock spin-off. And as you go forward into season 2 with this thing of change and how it's gonna affect, Liz, how does it come down to you? Because you guys were right in the precipice of like making it.
Well, it affects me because they all go into their midlife crisis because of death. And so then they're all like, I wish I did this, make sure you do this, because I didn't do enough of this, and you should be living and you should be doing all these things. And then Gigi starts to think, well, I haven't really lived it all, I should try all of these things, and I should get on it right now. So what happens next for Gigi is she enters a very explorative time in her life sexually this season. Clapping like a dirty Uncle Bobby. Jesus. But it's fun. I had a lot of fun because, especially, I love the dichotomy between Ava and Gigi, because she's really confident and she's like hardcore, like groupie sexy. She's got it down, and Gigi wants that so bad, and she's like, I'm gonna do that too. Threesome, I'll handle it. Me too. And then I'm like Paul Rudd and I Love You Man. I don't know if anyone remembers that movie, but I'm like a fumbling mess. She starts cool, and then it always just goes to shit within like a half hour, but it just starts to be charming, and I liked playing a goofier, sillier side of her this year. So she's in quarter life crisis while they're all having midlife.
And there's a lot of sex this year. That's what I said. Some of it's really sexy, but every single time we do a really sexy scene, we end up making sure that it somehow has a fucking hilarious twist to it. And the fight scenes too. Yeah, it says, well, everybody gets fucked this year, and I mean that literally. And then they get fucked while they're getting fucked.
Oh, you know who doesn't have sex? Is there any chubby chasers here? I don't want to say that? Because now
Especially since you opened your pants. I'm sure we found out who's willing and able.
I know what's gonna happen. Next year I'm just gonna be, he's actually gonna make me a woman. Next year I'm just gonna...
I just want to say one thing. How great of a fucking season-long storyline would that be?
No.
Dude, Bam Bam has a sex change operation. That could be a 2-season arc.
Because then I'm gonna have to lose weight.
Oh!
I'll be a chubby trans?
If you want, I'll talk to you about that.
What color hair?
No hair.
I don't want to be a redhead, no offense. No, my Aunt Peggy's a redhead.
And John.
You know, it's like, I love Bobby because, you know, if Jesus came down right now and said, listen, you know, you have 3 wishes, he would have an argument with Jesus. Like, he'd be, oh my God, I really believe in you, I'm so glad you're here, so listen, I want a little bit of hair. I don't want red though, I don't want fucking red hair. I want some hair on my head, and you're never fucking satisfied.
I'd be an ugly redhead.
I knew Bobby, when I first met Bobby, do you not want me to say this? Oh,
Not that.
Bobby was fucking built like a brick shit house and had a full head of curly fucking hair. Like the kind of head of hair that you go, even as a guy, you go, like, fucking guy's got a good head of hair. And you were, how old were you then?
I was around 27. I was
27.
gorgeous. I was
And
fucking gorgeous.
and he really was. He looked like a completely different guy. And let me finish. So show him the part though. Show him the part of your face. Yeah. The handsome. It's still there. Look at the handsome. It's right there. See it? There it is.
Head to toe.
See it? Right in the middle. Look at that. That is that's a Calvin Klein model face right
Hey,
there.
can I have that salad? Save that for me.
So, but Bobby is a much more interesting actor at this age. You know, with his life experience and the way he. Are you all right?
Are you coming down or up? What are you doing?
This is the nicest thing he's ever said to me, and I'm doing this. The story of my fucking life. Leary finally gives me an awesome compliment. I'm buckling my pants.
Do you have to stay standing up now?
I actually do.
Okay. Anyways,
Go ahead.
I think you've turned into a terrific character actor, and that's all about life experience, right? And the fact that you are like everybody else in jail. Everybody has to be willing to play their vanity, like the worst elements of yourself. If you can think you're cool, but then you have to really, at some point, be really uncool. That's the key to the show.
Yeah, the key to this show is if you tell Dennis anything about your personal life, he will steal it and write it into the scripts.
I just want to say something as a writer, and anybody that's out there that's a writer knows this, that the best shit, is what you write what you know, right? Well, if we have a 20-minute lighting break, and I'm going to hear, I know most of Bobby's stories, I know them long enough, but I hear a story from John Ellis' past about how he felt about something, no matter what it was, I might put that in the fucking next script. Or call the other writers and go, hey,
Or it's
listen.
like, I'll be on a coffee break, you're not thinking about it, this one time when I was a kid. Anyway, I'll see you later, guys. And it's like the next strip is gonna be like, but it's good, it's funny, it's good.
Well,
We're getting the hook, but we're getting the hook to go because we got to show the first episode. But one thing I want to say before we go, and you'll know this, you'll know this. John Solberg, who's the head of FX, said to me before I did this panel, he said, he's like, guarantee you this is gonna be pretty much the easiest panel you'll ever do.
thanks.
Let's watch season 2's coming out June 30th, I believe.
June 30th. Thanks, guys.
Thanks everybody for coming out.
Thank you.